Henry James penned his short tale, The Jolly Corner, in 1906, upon his return to England following his final voyage to America, his country of origin. Released in 1908, the narrative delves into the psychological turmoil of Spencer Brydon, who revisits his native New York City after over 3 decades abroad. Brydon becomes fixated on the idea of an alternate self, one that he might have become had he heeded his father's desire to join the family's lucrative real estate enterprise instead of venturing overseas. Convinced that this spectral doppelganger lurks within his childhood home, Brydon embarks on a haunting pursuit that culminates in a chilling confrontation. At the age of 56, Brydon inherits 2 properties in New York City, following the demise of his last surviving relatives. Having left the city at 23 for a life in Europe, he finds himself overwhelmed by the towering skyscrapers and bustling streets upon his return. His reconnection with a childhood friend, Alice Staverton, provides solace amidst the urban chaos, as they both reminisce about a bygone era. Despite his disdain for profit-driven developers and his rejection of his father's real estate legacy in favor of European refinement, Brydon discovers a latent talent for the construction industry. Alice observes that he has long neglected this innate ability, evident during a conversation with a construction representative overseeing the conversion of one of his properties into flats. Despite the lucrative prospects, Brydon remains resolute in preserving his childhood home, situated on the prized Jolly Corner, as a testament to his personal history and values. She proposes that had he remained in New York, he would have undoubtedly mastered architectural design and amassed a fortune from it. Brydon and Alice venture to his ancestral home, situated on the esteemed Jolly Corner. For reasons he struggles to articulate, Brydon prefers to maintain the grand, 4-story residence vacant and untouched, save for the weekly upkeep by the housekeeper, Mrs. Muldoon. They explore each room of the majestic structure, and Alice laments the missed opportunity for such a place to be furnished and inhabited. The house has witnessed 3 generations of Brydon's family, and he perceives their lingering presence within its walls, considering it still inhabited. Later, at Alice's residence, Brydon confides in her about his incessant pondering over how his life would have unfolded had he never departed New York. He acknowledges spending the last 3 decades in Europe leading a frivolous, possibly scandalous existence. Despite his disdain for real estate magnates who profit from beastly rent values, he contemplates whether he could have become one himself, though he equates such a fate with monstrosity akin to the modern buildings. Alice defends him, suggesting that his regret lies not in the lost fortune, but in the lost power. When Brydon questions whether she would have liked him in his billionaire alter ego persona, Alice reassures him of her affection, but his self-absorption prevents him from fully grasping her implication. She then discloses having seen Brydon's alter ego twice in her dreams. While Brydon shares his obsessive thoughts with Alice, he conceals his nightly excursions through his vacant family residence. His fixation on the man he could have become has evolved into a conviction that this alter ego lurks within the house. Every night, he lights a candle and prowls through the dark rooms and passages for hours, envisioning himself as a big game hunter. Despite his belief that he is closing in on his elusive quarry, Brydon feels the tables turn as he senses his alter ego trailing him during his hunt. Anticipating that a disruption in his routine might unsettle his elusive target, Brydon refrains from visiting the house for 3 consecutive nights. Upon his return, he discerns that his alter ego no longer harbors intentions of fleeing but instead awaits him within the obscure corners of the house. Ascending to the uppermost chambers, Brydon notices a previously open door now closed. Convinced that his alter ego lurks behind it, Brydon approaches with hesitation. However, unable to muster the courage to push it open, he interprets this hesitation as an act of discretion, sensing a silent plea for mercy from his other self. After deliberating with himself extensively in another room, Brydon ultimately resolves to depart without confronting the specter of his potential self. Descending the stairs, he is startled to find his alternative self waiting for him in the vestibule. The impeccably dressed figure conceals his face with hands bearing 2 missing fingers. As he uncovers his visage, Brydon recoils in horror, finding the unveiled identity too grotesque and repulsive to accept, rendering him unconscious. Awakening to the sound of Mrs. Muldoon's voice, Brydon finds himself on the floor, cradled in Alice's lap. Recounting his harrowing ordeal, Brydon is met with a nod of understanding from Alice, who shares that she too saw his alter ego in her dreams that same night. Despite Brydon's revulsion at the sight, Alice expresses pity, recognizing the toll that life has taken on the alternate version of him. Understanding his struggle to reconcile with this vision, she reassures him that he isn't you. they embrace, finally declaring their mutual love. James leaves ambiguous the true identity or significance of the figure Brydon encounters. Scholars and critics have proposed various interpretations, ranging from a symbol of capitalism's shadow to manifestations of Brydon's concealed identities. Likewise, opinions on the story's ending diverge, with some viewing it as a resolution filled with hope, while others perceive it as a tragic culmination. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.